The NASCAR Cup race has officially concluded from Bristol Dirt, and we see a lot of great racing, tempers flaring, and a pretty good finish that would have ended up a lot better had the race stayed green. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Bristol Dirt. We got a lot to talk about it from the Food City Dirt race. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, at the start of the race, you had Kyle Larson lead the field from the outside with Austin Dillon on the inside, and Kyle Larson's able to clear for the race lead, is able to start pulling away. Early in the race, Austin was trying to close into Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson was able to hold on. Then the first caution race to come out lap 11 for Bubba Wallace, who lost control going to turn number 2. Then Joey Logano had nowhere to go and got into the back of him, and a couple other cars, including Todd Gillen, were involved in that caution, and that bring out the first caution of this race. Bubba Wallace just lost it. So on lap 22, he went back racing with Kyle Larson leading the field from the outside with Christabel on the inside, and we saw Kyle Larson get a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead and was able to dominate. Then, about 16 laps later, another caution come out lap 38 for Matt Crafton, who spun out in turn number 3, bringing out the caution. And Joe Logano nearly hit Matt Crafton, was able to go ahead and able to save it. So then on the next restart, you had Kyle Larson leading the field from the outside with Kyle Busch on the inside. And we saw Kyle Larson able to get a really strong restart and able to clear for the race lead and was able to pull away. Then we had some really good racing going on between teammates Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon, battling side by side, back and forth, really strong racing there. Then we had some contact a few laps later between Eric Jones and Corey LaJoie. They actually had to come down pit road to basically get some repairs. And then on lap 58, another caution would come out for Brad Keselowski, just spun on his own going to turn number 4. He would bring out the caution. Then went back green with Kyle Larson leading the field from the outside with Austin Dillon on the inside, and we saw Kyle Larson get a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. And then with a few laps to go in this race, actually coming to the end of stage number 1, Kyle Larson had the lead and they were not going to catch him. As they're going down the backstretch, a caution would come out at the end of stage number 1 for Josh Berry, who got spun by Denny Hamlin, both of them spinning out, having a collision, and Kyle Larson would come off the corner under caution and win stage number 1. Then we see a little bit of strategy where a couple guys, including Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex Jr., Bubba Wallace, and Ty Dillon, would stay out while everyone else came down pit road. So basically on the restart at the time, Tyler Reddick got a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson and Ryan Preece had some contact, and basically and down the front stretch, Kyle Larson unfortunately came up into Ryan Preece, got Ryan Preece into the outside wall, bringing out not the caution, but continued on, and Ryan Preece was very unhappy with Kyle Larson at the time. Then a few laps later, Jonathan Davenport would spin unassisted in turn number 4 and brought out the caution, just got loose in the corner, and he would spin out. Then on the next restart, Tyler Reddick lead the field from the outside with Martin Truex Jr. on the inside, and we saw Tyler Reddick get a really strong jump and able to clear for the race lead with basically Bubba Wallace in second. And then the next lap, another caution would come out for Michael McDowell, who would do a 360. Surprised that was a caution, but he would bring out the caution once again. Then on the restart, Tyler Reddick lead the field from the outside with Martin Truex Jr. on the inside, and Tyler Reddick gets able to clear for the race lead. Then we start seeing some spins happening, first by basically Daniel Suarez, who spun down the backstretch. Luckily for him, the caution would not come out. Well, unlucky for him. Then a few laps later, Michael McDowell, he would do another 360 out of turn number 4. We thought that was going to be a caution. It was not a caution. Then next lap, A.J. Allmendinger had an impact to the inside wall. Luckily, that was not a caution for him. And then a caution come out lap 103 for Ryan Preece, who spun down the backstretch, was basically between Kyle Busch and Ty Dillon at the time. He had a lot of damage and would have suspension damage and bring out the caution. Such a shame for Ryan Preece. And then meanwhile, I believe at the time, I think that Ryan Preece and Kyle Larson had some disagreements under the caution flag as well. So then on the restart, Tyler Reddick lead the field from the outside with Bubba Wallace on the outside, and we saw Tyler Reddick able to clear for the race lead. Then Ty Dillon got a little bit loose up on the racetrack and dropped a ton of positions and started falling back. Then a lap later, Bubba Wallace started dropping positions once again as well, and he would drop all the way back to 13th. And then a lot of guys started getting into wall. Then you had Kyle Larson, who was getting back up to the front contending. He was at the 3rd position. He got into the wall battling Austin Dillon and dropped a ton of positions. And then the next lap, another caution came out for Brad Keselowski, who spun in turn number 2, bringing out the 8th caution of this race. And then on the restart, Tyler Reddick lead the field from the outside with Austin Dillon on the inside, and Tyler Reddick was able to clear for the race lead. Then we would see Eric Jones spin number 2 the next lap, but the race would continue on and stay green. So then Kyle Busch did a slide job trying to get the lead over Tyler Reddick, making a very fantastic move. But Tyler Reddick makes the same move and got back by Kyle Busch in the next corner, and really strong racing. Kyle Busch actually had the race lead at the time from Tyler Reddick, but then would lose about 10 laps to go on the restart and would lose a ton of time. And then it would basically come down between Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon because Kyle Busch dropped back to third or fourth. Austin Dillon tried to get by Tyler Reddick for the stage win. It would not be enough, though, and coming off the corner, Tyler Reddick would win stage 2. Then Tyler Reddick basically came into pit road. They basically get some fuel and tires because he did not pit at the time. A bunch of guys came in as well. 9 guys decided to actually stay out at the time, though. Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Eric Almirola, William Byron, Michael McDowell, Todd Gillen, Denny Hamlin, Josh Berry, and Ross Chastain all stayed out while everyone else came down pit road. And then Kyle Larson's pit crew made a very questionable call by deciding to not take tires and keeping the tires on that he had, which is a stupid decision and would come back to bite him in the ass later in the race. So then on the restart, you had Christopher Bell lead the field from the outside with Todd Gillen on the inside, and Christopher Bell was able to clear for the race lead and was able to start pulling away. And then the call would bite him in the ass because Kyle Larson's been coming off a turn number 4, bringing out the 10th caution of the race, and basically went out and he could not change tires because the rules, he could not change tires with the different rules that were in the race. So then on the restart, Christopher Bell lead the field from the outside with Todd Gillen on the inside, and Christopher Bell was able to clear for the race lead over Todd Gillen, while Chase Briscoe jumped up to second. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin spin a few laps later in turn number 2 is able to continue on. And then Austin Dillon was jumping up to the front, was the fastest car on the track, and was jumping up to the front, but then trouble would strike once again with 76 laps to go as tempers would flare between Kyle Larson and Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece basically paid back Kyle Larson, bumped back into Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson got into the outside wall, tempers flaring, and payback out on the racetrack, and Kyle Larson would get a ton of damage. Also, Ryan Preece would get a ton of damage as well, and this would bring out the caution of this race, and also would take Kyle Larson out of the race, unfortunately. Fast car most of the day, got taken out of contention. Kind of his own doing for the payback and stuff, but it is what it is. So then on the next restart, had Christopher Bell lead the field from the inside and was able to clear for the race lead. Then Austin Dillon was coming to the field and was jumping up front and got up to third position with Chase Briscoe moving up to second. Meanwhile, a few laps later, Ross Chastain was spun out in turn number 2, was able to continue on, and we stayed green. Then you had Tyler Reddick, who was moving up as well up to 6th position. You had Chase Briscoe trying at the time run down Ross Chastain, I believe it was Christopher Bell at the time, but could not get there. But then with 50 laps to go, another caution would come out for Noah Graggs, who spun in turn number 1 with a broken toe link, ending his chances at a good finish. And then under the caution as well, we saw basically Eric Almirola come down pit road with an issue, having a great night. Unfortunately, took him out of contention. So on the restart, Christopher Bell lead the field from the outside with Chase Briscoe on the inside, and Christopher Bell was able to clear for the race lead. But then Chase Briscoe's car really started coming into play with the fresher tires. I think he was on actually the same strategy as Christopher Bell, but they were battling really, really hard. And then Chase Briscoe made a little bit of a mistake as he tried to get by. He actually tried to slide job it on Christopher Bell. Chase Briscoe did, but then he lost a lot of ground, and Tyler Reddick was able to get around and get up to second position with around 29 laps to go. He did the slide job on Chase Briscoe. Then J.J. Elliott would spin on the backstretch, but the race would stay green, and Chase Briscoe started dropping back, got into the outside wall, and started falling back a ton of positions. And then with 17 laps to go in this race, you basically saw Austin hit the wall outside as well, by the way, and Ryan Blaney got back by him. But you saw Corey LaJoie also spin. But then with 16 laps to go, Kyle Busch would spin in turn number 4 and basically got to pit road, bringing out the caution, and I believe the final caution of the race. I'll be honest, I probably should not have been a caution because it was setting up to be a fantastic finish between Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell. So then on the final restart with 9 laps to go, you had Christopher Bell lead the field from the outside with Brian Blaney on the inside, with Christopher Bell able to clear for the race lead. And actually, unfortunately, got turned around as well and dropped all the way to back, and the race would stay green. So it's coming down to a really good finish between Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. On one lap, you had Tyler Reddick catching Christopher Bell, but other times you saw Christopher Bell pulling away from Tyler Reddick. There's coming to 2 laps to go in this race. Tyler Reddick was only 4/10 back and was closing in and faster than Christopher Bell, as Reddick, of course, was on the fresher tires. Tyler Reddick is able to close. As they're coming to the white flag, Tyler Reddick was 0.3 of a second back and was really starting to close in at the end of the race on Christopher Bell. But it would not matter because on the last lap of the race, there was a multi-car wreck between Josh Berry and Ross Chastain, and that would bring the caution out at the end of this race, meaning that Christopher Bell will come off the corner under yellow and pick up his first win of the 2023 season. I believe this is his 5th career NASCAR Cup Series victory and the 6th driver to win a race so far in 2023. Tires really didn't mean much. I think Cristobal had a really strong car, no doubt about it. Had a top 5 car pretty much all evening. But definitely the strategy really helped him out, and that caution really saved his opportunity and a chance. It's a shame. I wish the race would have stayed green at the end because it was setting up to be a fantastic finish. I know that Ross Chastain would stop at the top of the track. So thank you, Ross, for that. Legitimately, thank you for that. But it is what it is, and Cristobal, congratulations to him. Well-deserved victory, led nearly 100 laps tonight. I don't think he had the best car in the race, but still hung on. Reddick was faster than him, but nonetheless, congratulations to Cristobal on picking up the victory. Well-deserved win. So now let's talk about the overall race as a whole and give you my score of tonight's race. And also talk about dirt racing in general as well, because we're going to be talking about that tomorrow on the channel. So Cristobal picks up the victory. Tyler Reddick finishes second. Reddick was definitely faster than Cristobal at the end of the race, but just that caution coming out took out his chance, opportunity to get it done. But a great day for Tyler Reddick. Got a stage win and got a lot of points today as well. A big bounce back from Richmond last week. A great bounce back for Tyler Reddick. He finishes second. Austin Dillon finishes third. Austin Dillon had a top 5 car all night long. This is the best run that Austin Dillon has had so far this year. Was really strong in his heat yesterday, and a great night for Austin Dillon. A fantastic finish in third race. A really good confidence booster for him. He's been struggling all year, so great run for Austin Dillon. How about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishing fourth? Stenhouse has been consistently having a decent year so far. I know he's had some bad races, but outside of last week at Richmond, he's been quietly having a decent year. So good run for Stenhouse in the top 5. Fantastic run for that team. Chase Briscoe finishes 5th. Best run he's had all year. Briscoe's been struggling most of the season, so good for him to have a fantastic run. Yes, he got up there because of strategy, but he also had that experience. He's basically been having some injuries that kind of affected him tonight. So good run for Chase Briscoe in 5th place. How about Justin Healy finishes 6th? A must-see run for Justin Healy. It's been a struggling year. They lost the appeal, of course. They did get 25 of their points back, but a really good confidence booster for that team. Great run for Justin Healy in 6th. Mark Truex Jr. finishes 7th. Truex had an up-and-down night. Good run, though, for Truex. A great bounce-back night. That's only his second top 10 of the year so far, so good to see Mark Truex Jr. get our top 10 finish. And him and James Small were really good on the radio, so good to see that. How about Todd Gilliland finishing 8th? Todd Gilliland ran top 10 a lot of this race, and he's been really quietly having a strong year so far. I think he's around the top 20 in points, which is really impressive. So he's been really good recently. Great run for Todd Gilliland, 8th. Kevin Harvick finishes 9th. For a guy who ran outside the top 25 a lot of this race, good to see Harvick get another top 10. Harvick's been consistently running really strong this year. He might be the points leader in all honesty, in all seriousness, after tonight. So great run for Kevin Harvick in 9th. And Ty Gibbs actually crossed the line in 10th. They actually said he finished 11th initially, but another top 10 for Ty Gibbs. That's his 4th straight top 10 finish. Consistently running well and probably near the playoff cutoff line at the moment right now. So great run for Ty Gibbs once again. Michael McDowell finished 11th. McDowell was about 11th to 15th place car most of the night. Still a very good night for Michael McDowell, though. Really good night for front row in general. Great run for Michael McDowell in 11th. Bubba Wallace finishes 12th. Bubba Wallace spun out early. I think he had a car that could have finished in the top 10. They played a strategy call and got some stage points, I think. Still a very good run for Bubba Wallace, so in 12th place. A much-needed run for that team after the issues the last few weeks. They needed to come out here with a good run, and they had a pretty solid run. William Byron finishes 13th. I thought Byron was going to run a little bit better tonight. He ran top 10th to 15th most of the night. Still a decent run nonetheless. A good time to make up some points for sure after losing 16 points over the week. Still a very solid run for William Byron. Eric Jones finishes 14th. Eric Jones basically had issues all night long, so a very big bounce-back weekend for Eric Jones at 14th, though. Solid run for him. Harrison Burton finishes 15th. Solid run for Harrison Burton tonight. Not a bad run for him. AJ Allmendinger finishes 16th for a guy I think was multiple laps down at one point. Great comeback for AJ Allmendinger. Brad Keselowski spent out like 3 times, bounces back and finishes in the top 20. All things considered, good comeback for Brad Keselowski, 17th. Chris Buescher, 18th. Also struggled most of the night, never was really a contender at all. 18th is about the best he ran all night, so unfortunate. Hopefully RFK can do better dirt races going forward. Austin Cindric finishes 19th. Very surprising how far he was off. He was actually really good early in the race. Car just seemed to go away near the end. He finishes 19th. And J.G. Elliott finishes 20th. Qualified very, very well. Unfortunately, near the end of the race, fell off. Car just never was really the same, but still a top 20 run for the Rick Ware cars. Can't be mad about that. Ty Dillon finishes 21st. That's his best finish so far of the year, and the best he's ran all year was actually in the top 10 a lot of this race. So good to see Ty Dillon have a good run. Best run I've seen him have all year, so great run for Ty Dillon in 21st. Denny Hamlin finishes 22nd, a race that Denny Hamlin's going to want to forget. Terrible night for Denny Hamlin in 22nd. Ryan Blaney finishes 23rd. Tough break for him. Ryan Blaney had a car that easily could have won this race, or a top 5 car for sure. It's a shame he got spun out near the end and didn't get a caution, but it is what it is. He finished 23rd. Ryan Preece finishes 24th. Ryan Preece in the early portion had a race-winning speed and a race-winning car. After the toe link got broke, never was really a factor in a contender. And it's a shame, too, because a lot of things have been kind of out of his control this year and have affected him. Some of the stuff's been in his control, like near the end of the race tonight. But unfortunately, just a lot of things out of his control have affected him this year, and he unfortunately finishes 24th. Daniel Suarez finishes 25th, never factored tonight, just completely struggled tonight. Trackhouse in general was completely off in this race. Suarez, who I thought was going to be somewhat a threat tonight, just completely struggled. He finishes 25th. How about BJ McLeod finishing 26th? Another top 30 run for the Live Fast Motorsports team. Good to see that team having a decent run. Josh Berry finished 27th. Ran a top 5 a lot of this race. Unfortunately, just the car never was really that good. It's a shame Barry couldn't really get up there and contend. A lot of damage near the end of the race as well. He finishes 27th. Ross Chastain finished 28th, really off this weekend. Trackhouse, like I said, struggled all weekend long. He finished 28th. Tough night for Ross Chastain. Alex Bowman finished 29th. He got some damage on one of the late race restarts, was in the top 10. The Brock's broadcast did not do a good job talking about that. He finished 29th, unfortunately. Corey LaJoie finishes 30th. LaJoie was never a factor in a contender. I think he spun out at one point. He finishes 30th. Eric Almirola finishes 31st. Man, Eric Almirola was actually having a really strong night tonight. Was going to potentially get a top 10 or top 12 finish. And just not another good night for Eric Almirola. Have one top 15 finish this year. Just not a good year for Eric Almirola. Kyle Busch finishes 32nd. Kyle Busch early in this race is one of the strongest cars. Unfortunately, they had something break on the car near the end. It took him out of contention. It's a shame because Kyle Busch was going to be a threat to win. He was probably going to go up there and contend with Tyler Reddick and Christopher for the win. It's a shame something broke on that car because he finishes 32nd. Noah Gragson finishes 33rd. Matt Crafton, who was substituting for Cody Ward due to personal issues, finishes 34th. Kyle Larson finishes 35th. We all know what happened to Kyle Larson. Such a shame because Larson could have been a contender for the win. Another race where got thrown away because of mistakes on the racetrack. Just crew chief mistakes and driver mistakes took him out of contention. Jonathan Davenport finishes 36th, and Joey Logano finishes last in 37th. Just a rough night for Joey Logano. So now let's talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give you my score for tonight's race. This, in my opinion, was the best Bristol Dirt race I've seen. Multiple grooves, great preparation on the racetrack, a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of comers and goers, a lot of attrition, a lot of things about racing I love. It was a fantastic race overall from start to finish. I'm going to give tonight's race at Bristol Dirt overall an 8.5. Actually, I'm going to give this race a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed the race at Bristol Dirt this year. This is my favorite race at Bristol Dirt. I really enjoyed it. I will say the reason that this isn't my favorite race of the year, though, is due to the inconsistencies out on the racetrack, but still really enjoyed it. And I think that there are things that they can do that can fix procedures of the dirt racing, but I really did enjoy this race overall. And I know there's been a lot of talk about if NASCAR should stay at Bristol Dirt. A lot of people are really negative on social media tonight about Bristol Dirt. I will say maybe we don't go back to Bristol Dirt in the future, maybe, if we're going to still do dirt racing, but I still enjoyed tonight's race. And if we're going to keep 2 Bristol Dirt dates going forward, we probably should stay at Bristol Dirt at least for another year. I really believe that this should be a placeholder, but I will also talk about this tomorrow on the channel and get my thoughts on it. So anyways, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Cup Series race view from Bristol Dirt. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you know if I win a video that's going to go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below with that, and comment your thoughts below on tonight's race. What are your thoughts on tonight's race at Bristol Dirt? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Christopher on picking up the victory. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video, and we're also going to have the Truck Series race picks for the Martinsville weekend. On Tuesday, we're going to see the NASCAR Xfinity Series race picks, but also potentially we're going to see the NASCAR Cup Series race picks or something special on the channel for that day. Then on Wednesday, we're going to basically have a NASCAR news video and probably the Cup race picks maybe in the morning. And then on Thursday is going to be the first silly season predictions on the channel. Make sure to enjoy that. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching tonight's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.